Hi friends, today we will discuss about the theme 6 of history, which is Bhakti Sufi traditions, changes in religious beliefs and devotional texts. I prepared the notes. First take a look at it. The important topic are these. Here we will talk about from the important topics like status of women in that period, Lingaites of Karnataka, the Alvars and Nayanars, the Bhakti traditions classification, the Tantric form of worship, etc. Okay, we are talking about the things happened between circa 8th to 18th century. The main feature of this period was the visibility of wide ranges of gods and goddesses. We can visible this in sculptures and texts. During time, many works were done in very simple Sanskritic verses. There was an integration of cults. The main peculiarity of this were it was accessible to women and Shudras, who were generally excluded from Vedic learning. The period before this, the Shudras and women were totally excluded. They did not have a say or they did not have anything to do with this. But during this time, to the religion or to the Bhakti, women and Shudras were introduced. Actually, the Bhakti was introduced to them. They got the chance to participate in these things. Here we talk about the Tantric forms of worship. The Tantric form of worship was more prevalent among women, often associated with the goddesses were forms of worship and their were classified as tantric. Tantric practices were widespread in several parts of the subcontinent. They were open to women and men, and practitioners often ignored the differences of caste and class within the ritual context. This thing, the thing, it was open to men, women, and the caste and class were not a feature is distinguish who will be participating it, or there was no need of the proving of caste and class to do tantric form of worship. So this became very famous, or this became widespread in the subcontinent. So after tantric forms we move to bhakti traditions. The traditions were classified into two, saguna and nirguna. Saguna with a atheist and Nirguna were without a form or without an abstract form. And the Alvars and Nayanars of Tamil Nadu. It's a very important thing. The worshippers of Vishnu were Alvars, and the devotees or the worshippers of Shiva were Nayanars. As we know, during that period itself, the main deities of our country were Shiva and Vishnu. So we can the worshippers of Vishnu were known as Alvars and the worshippers of Shiva known as Alvars. The common features of them were they were traveling across the country singing hymns in Tamil. Of course, these hymns were praising their gods. Alvars and Nayanars initiated a movement against caste system and dominance of Brahmanas. Nalayira Divya Prabandham was an important composition of Alvars equal to the Vedas. The Alvars and Nayanars always opposed the Brahmanical system, the caste system actually. This caste system is dominated by Brahmanas. As we know, they say about Purusha Sukta and all, the divine origin of caste and the Varnas, Chadurvarnya system also. So, in there, the Brahmanas dominated in all fields Brahmana, then Kshatriya, then Vaishya, and Shudras. This hierarchical level of classification were existed in our country. But both the Alvars and Nayanars opposed this. This Brahmanical system was not right according to them. They always raised a challenge to them. So once again, the devotees of Vishnu were Alvars, and the devotees of Shiva were Nayanars. And here we talk about the status of women. Under the topic status of women, we talk about two women. Two women mainly, Andal and Karaikal Ammayar. In that, perhaps the Perhaps one of the most striking features of this tradition was the presence of women. For instance, the composition of Andal, a woman alvar were widely sung. Of course, it is continued to be sung today. Andal saw herself as the beloved of Vishnu. She was a strong devotee of Vishnu. Sorry, not deity, devotee. She was a strong devotee of Vishnu. Her verses express her love for the deity. Another woman, Karekalamayar, as I told, the second woman is Karekalamayar, a devotee of Shiva, adopted the path of extreme asceticism in order to attain her goal. Her compositions were preserved within Nayanar tradition. These women renounced their social obligations but did not join an alternative order or become nuns. Even though these women renounced their social obligations, they were not nuns or they were not following any separate order. Their very existence and their composition posed a challenge to patriarchal norms. Even now, as our society is patriarchal. Then think about that period. Then the society was strong patriarchal society, but still the women like Andal or Karekal Ammayar were there under the Alvar or Nayanar system. They raised a serious threat to the patriarchal situation of the society. And the state patronage also. They got a strong state patronage, especially in South. Rather than Jainism and Buddhism, the South kings patronized Brahminical traditions. They made land grants to Lord Shiva at Gangegonda Cholapuram, to bronze sculpture of Shiva. It's one of the famous temples even now. Then we move to the Lingaites of Karnataka. Under the topic Lingaites of Karnataka, we are going to discuss about the Veerashaiva tradition in Karnataka. It happens in 12th century. In 12th century, witnessed the emergence of a new movement in Karnataka, led by a Brahmana named Basavanna. The leader of this movement was Basavanna. He was a Brahman, and he was a minister in the court of Kalajuri ruler. His followers were known as Veerashaiva. The term Veerashaiva known as heroes of Shiva. Otherwise, they are also known as Lingaites. Lingaites means wearers of Linga. Lingaites continue to be an important community in the region to date. In Karnataka, we can find many Lingaites. They worship Shiva in the manifestation of a Linga. According to them, Shiva is manifested as a Linga. And men usually wear a small Linga in a silver case on a loop strung over the left shoulder. That's why they are known as Lingaites. They always wear a Linga on their left shoulder. According to they were revered Jangama or wandering monks. The wandering monks, according to Linga, is known as Jangamas. Now we are going to talk about the speciality of Lingaites beliefs or the beliefs of Lingaites. Lingaites believe that on death the devotee will be united with Shiva and will not return to this world. After death, according to Lingaites, a person will unite with Shiva and he will not return to this world. Therefore, they do not practice funerary rites such as cremation, prescribed in Dharma Shastras. According to Dharma Shastras, after someone dead, we will cremate them. But Lingaites did not follow that. Instead of cremation, Lingaites buried them ceremonially. The dead bodies were buried ceremonially by the Lingaites after death. The Lingaites challenged the idea of caste and the pollution attributed to certain groups by Brahmanas. As we know, the Chaturvarnya existed. The people were classified into Avarnas and Savarnas. According to the system, Avarnas may pollute the Savarnas. But Lingaites always opposed it and raised challenge to it. They also questioned the theory of rebirth. These things won them followers, amongst who were marginalized within the Brahminical social order. Now, naturally, the people were marginalized under the Brahminical social order, being attracted to the Lingaites and joined them in mass. The Lingaites also encouraged certain practices disapproved in Dharma Shastras. such as post-puberty marriage and the remarriage of widows. These things were banned by the Dharmashastras. But Lingayats always encouraged that the post-puberty marriage and the remarriage of widows. Our understanding of the Virashaiva tradition is derived from Vachanas, literally sayings, composed in Kannada by women and men who joined the movement. The Vachanas or the sayings gives us information about the Lingayats. And we have to say about the North in the rise of Rajput states in North India, which patronized Brahmins. These Brahmins performed secular and ritual function. Okay, we are talking only till now today, and we have to recollect all the things we told till now. They include Bhakti and Sufi tradition in the 8th century to 18th century are our topic. We talked about the key concept like the rise of large number of gods and goddesses and the tantric forms of worship. And Bhakti traditions, the classification of Bhakti traditions, it includes Saguna and Nirguna, and the Alvars and Nayanars of Tamil Nadu. The devotees of Vishnu were Alvars, and the devotees of Shiva were Nayanars. And we talked about status of women. Under this topic, we talked about Andal and Karekalammayar. And we also mentioned Nalayira Divya Prabandham, a work by Alvars. And at last, we talked about Karnataka. Actually, the Lingayats of Karnataka. They are known as Virashaivas. And Virashaiva means the heroes of Shiva. And we said they are also known as Lingayats, as they wear a linga on their left shoulder. And why they opposed the Brahmanical system and how they attained this mass number of followers. Okay, that's the end of topics now. We will continue the growth of Sufi system in India on the next class.